Hey internets, it's cabin time. Cedar's excited to be here. It's early December in northern Minnesota. Not much snow yet. Maybe a little less than usual for us. Behind schedule, but I'm sure we'll make up for it before too long. Looks like everything's just the way I left it last time. I've got 15 degrees inside and 5 out. Little sun on the windows has helped warm it up inside and get the fire going and settle in here. Got a good view, kind of a windy day. It's kind of cold outside with the wind actually, but feels good to be in. I checked my cameras. I got a couple of videos of a pine marten from a day or two ago right after the snow fell. These guys are around, but you don't see them too often. I think a lot of times when I do see them, it's just kind of a glimpse and I mistake them for a red squirrel. I decided to work on a little project while the cabin was warming up and did some wiring back to my inverter. So put in a couple outlets and some switches for my lights, class the place up a little. Ready for nightfall now. And just because I'm off the grid doesn't mean I don't like to plug stuff in. So put a few outlets in around the cabin. Just on a little 200-watt solar system, so I won't be plugging in any toasters or curling irons or anything, but I can certainly charge a laptop or play some tunes or whatever. That's the work remotely outlet by the table. And a nice sunset tonight. I like this time of the year. In the summer, the sunset's farther north, and I really can't see it from the cabin, so I enjoy this time. And for dinner tonight, I've got a Upper Midwest Winter Classic going. Yeah, it's a pasty from Carlson's Pasty and Sausage Kitchen in lovely Bowabic, Minnesota. And here's some proof that those are both real places. There's Mr. Carlson just putting out his sign, and here's the finished product. It's a nice night. I don't think the camera's going to pick it up, but I can see the lake and the trees a little out my window. There's enough moon and starlight. And tomorrow I'm going to try spearfishing for northerns. So I'm setting up for fishing here right out in front of the cabin at about what I estimate to be the edge of the weed bed. It should be about 8 to 10 feet deep here. Cedar's not actually much help, but I give her credit for trying. There's about 8 inches of ice right now, so plenty to be out on. Twice as much as I need easily, but still pretty easy to get through. And I've augured 6 holes, so now I'll use the ice saw to cut pieces out. This part always takes longer than it seems like it ought to. It's just a little bit slow going, even though the saw looks pretty wicked. It doesn't go real fast. Shout out to Quinn and Doug for getting me started on spearing last year and sending me the set of ice tongs so I didn't have to buy them. Pulling the pieces out is the satisfying part, I think. And from starting on it to getting the hole made and my shelter popped up was about 45 minutes, so not too bad. Here's the view from inside my fish house. In about 8 feet of water, and the weeds come up about halfway, so I should be in a good spot. Good visibility today. The key to that is a dark fish house, not too much ice, clear water, and some sunlight. And you can see my decoy moving around. Just have that on a little ice fishing rod and a piece of fishing line that I can pull on to make it swim. And we'll see what happens here. I'm back in the cabin now. You can see the fish house out the window. I was out there for a couple hours today, and I'm surprised to say that I didn't even see a fish. Really surprised. So I'd go for a little ski to stretch out and get Cedar some exercise and enjoy the evening. I may have to try fishing a different spot tomorrow. I'm not sure. The place I was in should be good, but I would have expected to see a fish, I don't know, maybe every 15 minutes or so on average. Here's a spot. This is kind of interesting. There's just a little bit of snow, and most of the ice underneath is kind of textured, so it's not slippery, but there are smooth spots. You can see where some deer came across, and they were slipping around. Looks like there were 3 or maybe 4 of them, and every so often they just slide, but looks like they managed to keep it upright all the way across. The same thing's been happening to Cedar, where she'll be running along and just have a little blowout and have to collect herself again. So I did decide to try a different spot today. I pushed the ice chunks back in my hole here and marked it with a couple branches so that it's not a hazard. Nobody's coming by anytime real soon, but a little farther into winter there'll be some snowmobile traffic and stuff. So got everything loaded into my sled, and just gonna ski it down, maybe a half mile or a little longer around that corner in the next one, and try a spot there that I think might be good. A lot of people think ice fishing is cold, but that actually only applies to people with fancy power augers. If you have a hand auger like I do, anytime you start to get cold, you just go out and auger a hole, and you probably won't even finish it, and you'll be plenty warm again. So short sleeves are perfectly comfortable for this. I got a viewer question a while back I've been meaning to answer about what kind of fish are in the lake. Northerns, largemouth bass, crappies, and bluegills. No walleyes at all, unfortunately. There's no place for them to reproduce in here. I did run into an old timer a few years ago who said this lake used to be really good for walleye. They used to swim up from the next lake down, but the channel is all beaver dam now, so they can't make it through anymore. So here's my new spot. I'm off from a fairly steep drop off here. It's about 15 feet deep. which is a little deeper than I was going for, actually. Can't see the bottom. Did see a nice bass swim through a couple minutes ago, a largemouth bass, but can't spear them. I can only spear northerns, and it just went through. It had no interest whatsoever in my decoy, so if I hadn't been looking, I would have missed it. Got the Vikings game on the radio, which normally ends in disappointment, but we'll give them a chance. I tried that spot for a couple hours and didn't see anything except the one bass go through, so I decided to go back and try my first spot a little bit more today. Seems like it has better potential, and I've done well there in the past, so put in an hour or so there before it's too dark to see. Just need some pretty good daylight to be able to see into the water for spearfishing. I finally saw a fish. It was kind of funny. I looked away for just a minute to check on the dog out the window. When I turned back, there was one just sitting face to face with my decoy, staring at it. So I thought about trying to take some video, but I decided to spear it first and take some video of it later on my dinner plate. So I hit it well. I could see it. I could feel it. And this does not normally happen, but it got off from my spear and got away. I feel pretty bad because the fish is definitely not going to make it. That's not usually part of this. I guess I'm glad I saw one. I was just inside working on making my dinner, and I could hear wolves howling, so I thought I'd grab the camera and bring it out and see if I can get a recording of them. To be able to hear them inside, they're pretty close. Sounded like they're down the lake to my right. I'm definitely not expecting to be able to see them or anything, but hopefully they'll howl again and I'll be able to hear them. There's a little current over here with some open water, and I can hear what I think must be a beaver or two in there. I'm guessing the camera's not going to pick that up. It's pretty quiet. I'm not hearing them now, but there will definitely be another chance for wolves. And I think what I'll do is I'll drop in a picture here that I took a couple years ago. One morning I was eating my breakfast and saw a pack of wolves out on the ice. So I grabbed my camera and walked out on the ice and took some pictures of them. And this one in particular came fairly close enough to get a pretty good picture. So that'll have to do for now. That's it for this trip to the cabin. As usual, I'll leave you with a little bit of Zen time. Thanks for watching, and stop by again.